So I'd like to introduce Avery. Who's been working, I've known Avery for just over a year. So Avery is a bit of a guru in Facebook, and he's going to give you some amazing tips and tricks on how to maximise what Facebook has to offer and what kind of tools they have to grow and boost your business.
So before I start, I just want to know how many people here have like pages for their business on Facebook today? Okay, and how many people? Oh wow, that's a lot. Almost everyone. And how many people here have ever run ads on Facebook? Okay, and what was your experience with that?
Well, it was like 4 or 5 years ago, and it wasn't very successful.
Okay, and yours?
We sometimes got more hits and more comments from like a personal post over an ad.
Okay, and you said you ran?
I ran. Yes. How to structure the audience, and also whenever you got comments, triple the hits.
Right. So you're saying you got more comments on just an organic post over an ad?
Yeah, strange.
And then no one interacted with the ad at all?
It was okay. It wasn't great.
Okay, so the first step, the very first step before you run an ad, before you post on social media, is to just understand, if you were to say who is your best client, who is the person, the customer that's going to buy the most, the person that's going to, the top, like just take a piece of paper and write down what's the, like give him a name. Everyone I talk about is John Smith. John Smith is a guy, he's 35 years old, he lives in New York City, and I like create this actual person, and then I say, well, what does he do? How does he spend his time? He spends his morning, he wakes up and he goes through his Snapchat feed, and then he goes from there and looks at his Instagram, and you have to understand what he's doing. And then, he reads the New York Times, and these are just things that this guy, John Smith, does every day. I know that he spends his time doing these things, and now it really makes sense where I should be to be able to target John Smith. So if you first create a person, and then you know exactly where they're spending their time, how much time they're spending on each platform, then you could say, this person really only spends about 20 minutes a day on Facebook. It's a total waste of my time for me to even be on Facebook because he's not spending any time there. But really, he's on Google search every day, all day. He wants to check the weather, whatever it is, and that's why he's on Google search. And therefore, it makes a lot of sense to just be running Google ads to that person because he spends all of his time on Google search. So once you've created this persona, this person who's the #1 potential client, the next step is to create a marketing funnel that allows you to take that person from someone who's never ever heard of you to someone who is the most loyal customer and buys every product of yours and comes back for actually you post your cash, right? So they buy the blouse and the skirt and they just keep coming back because they love it, and that's the person you want, is to every single item you come out with every season, every time. So how do you get this person who's never heard of you to eventually become someone who's buying every single item? So that's obviously the question. And the first thing that you need to do that is to write out a funnel. Step 1 is you want to get them to watch a video of yours. Once they've seen a video of yours, they know who you are, it's a little bit more personable, and you're able to now take that's the first step. I don't expect anything from them. They're not going to buy my skirt because they watched my video. That's not happening. But that's the first step to get them to know that I even exist as a company. No one's ever heard of me before. This person never heard of me before. I want to get them to just have seen my product. So I'm going to make a video. It's going to have my products in it. They're going to see it. The next step is to get them to do some sort of exchange with you. I want you to come to my store. Here's 20% off your first item. All I want from you is your email address. If you don't want it, great, that's fine. But I want to trade with you. You give me something. I want your phone number. I want your physical address. I want something from you, and you get an ebook, a free webinar, a discount, free shipping. It could be anything that you want that you could give to that person for free. You have a question? No. And by doing that, you're creating a connection with that person. So they've already seen your video, and then you're giving them this discount, coupon, anything, and now they now know what your business is, and they have a reason to come and shop. But you're not expecting them yet to shop because they're not ready for that step yet. But now what you could do is you could email them, because you have their email address, you can call them and ask them if you want to meet for coffee. And then at that point you could then ask for a sale at the end of the funnel, the person actually come and buy from you and then hopefully come and buy again from you. So what you want to do is figure out what pieces of this marketing funnel, what goes in where. Like do I do Google's ads first? Do I do Facebook ads first? Maybe I should be doing, maybe I should do a mail campaign. Everyone that I want to meet, I'll buy a bunch of email addresses from Maran Beit Shemesh. I'll send a mass email, a mass letter, a physical letter to everyone. That's how I want people to hear about me. Maybe that's the first step. If you don't write this out first, you can't know what type of ads to run. You can't know what a conversion is. You can't know anything. So by creating this funnel, you're able to establish what a customer is doing. That guy, John Smith, the first thing I wanted to see is my video, then I wanted to be on read my article, then I wanted to give me an email address for some ebook I wrote, then I want to ask him for a Skype call, then I want to send him an email reminding him about the Skype call we talked about, and this is exactly the steps that you need to take. So the question is, how many of those steps can be Facebook ads? And this is why I really love Facebook ads, because Facebook can be almost every one of those steps. From the very beginning, targeting someone that's never heard of you, to the very end, getting them to buy your product and sign up for the platinum membership and anything else. Every step of the way. So I want to actually show you how that's something that's possible. So Facebook just added, within the last week, this thing. So this is the back end ads manager for Facebook ads. So all you have to do is you go to your facebook.com/ads, and it brings you to this page. You might have to sign up the first time by clicking the giant green button. They wanted to make it as easy as possible, which we're going to explain later. And in the drop down over here is audiences. It's a little hard to read, but it says audiences, and you click on it, and this is where you create audiences within Facebook. So until last week, this custom audience only had 3 options. Can you see the 4th one? Okay, so the 4th one is the one I actually wanted to see. So let's see if I could get it to go down. No. Okay, well the 4th one, so the first one is customer list. This is you have a physical email address. You want to target the people that have been to you, that you have their email address. So that's the first one. You click on it, you can attach your MailChimp list to it. You could just export your entire constant contact, drop it into Facebook. They will look at it, they'll say 70% of these people, we have a match to them. Obviously B2B companies, it's going to be a lot less because most people don't connect their business account to their Facebook. But most like B2C companies around 70%, and you have a list of 1,000 email addresses. They will like spit back to you 400, 500 of them that you can now be targeting on Facebook. The second one is website traffic. We're going to get into that conversation later about the Facebook pixel. You just put a single code that Facebook gives it to you. You put it on your website, and Facebook tracks every single person that ever comes to your website forever. And it allows you to target the people that have been there in the last 180 days. It's a very important distinction. They know everyone that's ever been to your website from the day the pixel was put on, but you can only target people that have been there in the last 180 days. So that's the website traffic, and they're now rolling out the ability to, I haven't gotten it yet, but they're rolling out the ability to say someone who's been to my website 4 times, 6 times, 10 times. And by doing, and you could pick like, specifically they've been to this URL of my website. They read my newest article, then I can retarget those people. But they're rolling out this thing that you could actually say, someone who's been to my website at least 10 times in the last month, and you know they're active users, and why are they not buying my stuff yet? They should be. So now you target them to buy your stuff. So that's the
retroactively tracks?
Retroactive to hunt, no, from the day the ad is put on, 180, you could target an ad to someone who's been there in the last 180 days, but it tracks information all the way back to the day it was put on. Which we're going to talk about that when we talk about the Facebook pixel. We'll get there.
So don't go on there for the first time. It can't retroactively go back 180 days.
No, right. It can't go back before the pixel was put there because it just can't track. But what's important is that you have to know that Facebook is collecting data from everyone, and therefore, if you want to match with a lookalike campaign, which again we'll get there, that those people, Facebook will have a better time matching people, even if they were on your site 10 years ago and never came back. As long as the pixel was there, they're able to say the person kind of looks like they act a lot like that person, John Smith. That's my guy. So the next one is app activity. So if you have an app, you could say someone who's been specifically they played this game, they got to level 32. You could do that on Facebook, or they just installed your app. Really, you could set anything. And the last one, which I'm upset that the screen just doesn't fit, is called engagement. So it actually says new in big blue letters. Again, nothing I can do about the screen. But what it shows me here is what is engagement. If you click on this little box, it tells you someone who's seen 3 seconds. This one says, someone who's seen 3 seconds of your video. The next one is 10 seconds, 25%, 50%, 75%, and 95% of your video. So I put a video up on Facebook. Someone who's watched 75% of that video, I can target them with an ad. I can say, you watched my video, you got to the part where the girl flips her hair. Now I know you're interested, 10% discount. Yeah? So this is the first step. All you're doing is you have an ad, it goes to a website. I don't want those people. I just want the people who they couldn't even be bothered to click on the link, but they watched 75% of it. They were clearly interested in watching my video. I can retarget
You
those.
define that parameter of watching a video to be
You choose the video.
4 pages, my site, spend more than 2 minutes on my site. You can define whatever that parameter is.
Yeah. No, so
Video.
right now, so engagement only has to, right today, it's clear that they're going to roll out for other stuff, meaning they're going to allow you eventually to target people who share a lot on your page. It currently doesn't exist, but the fact that they didn't call it video engagement, they just called it engagement, makes it clear that they plan to roll these things out, but this just came out last week.
Oh, so it's only video.
Right now it's just video engagement, but it's clear that there'll be, like, I have a lot of clients that ask me, why is it people like posts, but they don't like my page? And then I have to retarget them to get them to like my page again, because they didn't, they just liked the post. So the hope is, the assumption is that these ads will allow you to target people who have been liking a lot of your posts, but they just haven't liked your page. So now I can run an ad, target the people that like my post, that don't like my page, and I'll be able to get them to like my page finally after all these months of...
Liking a page is like getting married in a group.
But, yeah. Well, it depends too. If you're in Asia, then everyone and their sister will like your page. That's actually the most interesting part of this talk, is that point. So this is the 4 things. You could target anyone you want, custom audience, these 4 things: engagement, app use, website traffic, or email traffic. So if step 1 is just get someone to watch your video. So what'll that cost you? Probably under 2 cents, right? So you could literally run an ad tomorrow targeting people in the entire Mount Shemesh, every single person on Mount Shemesh, for $100. You'll hit every single one of them, and their dog if they're using Facebook, and they will see your video. But you don't care about all of those people. You only care about the people who sat through 75% of your 48-minute video that you put up, because obviously that's what you're targeting. That's what I put up, these 48-minute videos. So that you're able to target someone who literally sat through 95% of your video, and you could target them for step 2. So this was step 1. Step 1 in the marketing funnel was just get them to watch my video, right? And of course you can add a link to your website if you want, which is probably preferred, because if they watch that video, they probably want something else to do. They want you to tell them what to do next. And they just finished the video, there's nothing else to do, then they're just like, okay, I guess I'll move on to the next cat picture on Facebook. So this is step 1, is get someone to just watch your video. The next thing is, again, get their email address. So how do you get their email address? You create this audience, and I already did that here. It says here, video watchers. So this group of people, video watchers, was people who watched every video until 3 weeks ago. It's really easy to edit it. You can just choose the videos you want. And so that was 700 people. I've been putting up videos for the last since January. I put over 100 videos since January, talking to Abram that in the entire country of Israel, I'm probably the #1 content creator minus the newspapers at this point. So this was all the videos from more than 3 weeks ago and less than 180 days. There are 700 people. If I wanted to tomorrow, I could target every single one of them with an ad to read my article, give me their email address, anything that I want. So that was step 1. Step 2 is create an ad specifically of people that you don't already have their email address. It's really important. You don't want their email address again. You don't care about it. You already have it. That have watched your video. And now, so that is ad 2 in the funnel. And then you just target, again, so you spend $100 to get everyone all around the channel to watch your video, and then you spend $20 for just the people that sat and actually watched 75%. They chose themselves to be interested. They showed through engagement they were interested in your video. And then the next step is say, you gave me their email address, you now target based on the email addresses that you have, and say, buy the product, or send them an email to tell them to buy the product. Because again, the funnel doesn't only exist on Facebook, it just allows you to target them at every place on the funnel. Does that make sense?
You got to watch this video on your website?
On your a Facebook
On
video.
Facebook, you put it in your Facebook
Yeah, put it on
feed.
Facebook feed, and you target specifically people you want. So you pick women, the youngest you can do is 18 to 55, in Ramat Beit Shemesh. You want them to just watch your video and have your logo at the end of it so that they know that they saw it from you. And then the next thing is say, they want people who sat and watched 50% of your video. Obviously you test, it's not hard to make a second audience, you just test the 50% minus the 75%. Say if they watch the first 50%, give them a 10% discount. You know, I want you to know that I think my stuff is so great, here's free shipping to your house, wherever it is, and that's a really great second step. And then the third step is get them to buy something, get them to actually buy something. So if that doesn't work on Facebook, that could work on your email newsletter, because you collected their email address.
How long or how short should the video be? Like 75% is a
So-
video, that's a big commitment.
Right, so the video could be as short as a minute. I was actually talking to, so this conversation, I had a conversation last week with a Facebook representative who went to college for advertising, and their entire advertising, their fourth year was create videos under 60 seconds. Everything had to be in under 60 seconds. If it was 61 seconds, you failed, and if it wasn't engaging in 60 seconds, you also failed. So she taught, and that's why Instagram ads cannot be longer than 60 seconds. That's very important. So if you choose to only be on Facebook, then it could be a 12-minute long video. I could literally put this video up as an ad to everyone in marketing in Ramat Beit Shemesh and in Jerusalem area and Tel Aviv, and they could watch this video, and I will not target them unless they watch the entire 62 minutes of it, and I could do that. So obviously it's all about testing. You can make a 2-minute video. I could take this video, the last minute of it, and just throw that up on Facebook, and I could use that piece as my ad. So it's really just about testing, and again, the testing for the business, if you're doing it on your own, you're talking about you spent $100 to get them to watch the video, $20 to retarget them, however long it took you to design the layout of a landing page that can give them a free 10% discount, and the whole thing will cost you under $150. You've gotten 40 people to watch your video and ask for a 10% discount. So the hope is that if 3 people buy a dress, you've already made more money than you spent on Facebook ads. So now the question is, how do you actually make the ads? Right? So we talked about, first thing is the people, who are the people you're targeting? Second one thing is, how do you want to walk them through the process of buying? And now the question is, how do you as a business actually sit and make these ads? So this table doesn't work. So this is my ads manager. So the first thing you need to know is that Facebook is a really, really great business. Facebook the business, not Facebook the page, Facebook the business is really, really smart. Landing page optimizers spend their time learning how to optimize landing pages from Facebook. What do I mean by that? Facebook has this thing, it's a big giant blue button on every one of your page's posts. It says boost post, right? Has anyone ever seen that button? If you have pages, you've seen that big giant blue button. That is a button that Facebook put there because they make a ton of money from people spending a lot of money to do nothing. Because what they do is they give you options to have really minimal engagement, and that's the metric they want you to achieve. Video views. It's 3 seconds. Someone who sat through 3 seconds of your video, Facebook can check mark off they've done what you wanted, right? So how much is it? Or just impressions. Facebook will literally show it to everyone that wants, and they'll charge you 0.0001 cent per impression. What did that get you? A whole bunch of people who couldn't really care less about your post, but Facebook fulfilled the check mark that they need to let you say that they fulfilled the thing you asked for, right? So Facebook just wants, when you're setting up the ads, they just want to give you a bunch of little check marks. So if you ask for little things, they want to give you as many little things as you can so you just keep spending money. So that's what boost posts do. They let you think you've done really well. I had a client that he spent $100 on a boost post with the goal of video views. The video was 3 minutes long, and it was targeted to the people that like his page, that care about, it was like Christian worship songs. That's what a Christian worship song. So he had $100 and got 11,500 and some odd people to watch 3 seconds of the video. But he looked at the metrics and only about 100 of them actually made it past the first minute, right? So Facebook, they congratulated themselves. They got 11,000 views for 0.001 cent on that ad, and he realized that it cost him over 80 cents to get someone to watch 1 minute. The highly targeted group that he was hitting, he only got people for one minute for 80 cents, which is totally not worth it for him because he would have ran it through a different way. He would have gotten people who were going to sit and watch the whole video and then hopefully sign up for his email list, which is what he really wanted. So that is why it's really important to understand how to actually create posts. The next thing, so after you boost, if you try boost posts, those didn't work. The next thing you try is the ad manager. So the ad manager is really great for creating one ad. Now I'm going to explain what that means later, but basically, if you want to just say, I'm creating one ad to one group of people with one goal, then it'd take you 3 minutes to set it up and your ad is running, but you have no way to A/B test, you have no way to know if this ad's actually performing well because you have nothing to compare it to. If it's doing what's well, what does well mean? I don't know, because I just put up one post to one group of people and I just hope that it works. So the last thing, which is how I think everyone should be creating their ads, is something called Power Editor. So Power Editor looks like this, eventually. It's also a little wide, not as wide across. But and what it does is it splits things into 3 sections: campaigns, ad sets, and ads. Does everyone know those terms, or do I need to explain those terms? Okay, so campaign is the goal. It used to be there were a bunch of stuff in campaigns. Nothing's in campaigns anymore. It's just the goal. And this is really important because Facebook, again, chooses the people that will fulfill your goal. So for example, there's a lot of these articles out that talk about 1 cent likes on your Facebook page. So everyone wants to know, how do I get my 1 cent likes? So I'll tell you how. There's a group of people in a lot of Asian countries that will literally like every single page that comes across their Facebook feed. Every single page. So if you target the Philippines and the other, a bunch, literally it's a group of 700 million people in Asia that will like every single page that is put on their Facebook feed. You target those people, Facebook will give you every single one of those likes for a ridiculously cheap price because they will like anything. So if you target America and the Philippines, every cent of your ad will go to the Philippines because you asked for Facebook likes. They will give you so many Facebook likes you won't even know what to do with them, and will literally kill your page and have to start a new one because it won't help you at all. So
is that necessarily true? I mean, maybe they give you certain credibility. You have 10,000.
So now the question is, it's called the wow factor. So does having 100,000 likes help you? So it could be that you're in a business where you want to appear as if you have influence. Are you actually influential? So if someone comes to your website, you're a nonprofit, how do I know this nonprofit isn't just stealing my money? Well, look, this ALS website, this ALS Facebook page has 300 million likes. They must be influential, here's my money, right? Or they're taking my credit card, can I trust them? Here's, if they have over 10,000 likes, they must be trustworthy. Obviously, no one just buys fake likes from a Fiverr campaign. No one does that. So it must be if they managed to get 10,000 likes, they must really exist. And great, I'll take. So there is this factor. That is true. But if the goal of your Facebook page is to sell on your Facebook page, the worst thing you could do is get a bunch of fake likes for your Facebook page. Because again, what does Facebook want? Facebook wants you to post something and to get engagement. Because then you're like, whoa, someone found my post, I'm going to post another one, I'm going to post another one. And then, oh, it's working so well, here's $5, here's $10. Next week you're spending $1 million a month on Facebook because Facebook did the best thing a business could do. Make you think it's working, so you spend more money, right? That's it. So you run a like campaign, it will get you a ton of likes for the cheapest possible price they can give it to you. So you spend the next day another $10, and another $10, and another $10. And then you forget about the campaign because it works so well. And in 3 years, your office gets a bill from PayPal from this actually happened. This actually happened. My boss ran an ad, and I was running ads later, and he forgot about the ads, and we got this bill for $700 on Facebook. And we're like, what are you talking about? And then we realized that same $700 was charged every month for the last 8 months. And we just forgot about the ads that were running because they were going so well for the first week, so I just left them running. He just left them running, and then It was all great, and then we turned around and had spent over $10,000, and all we got for it was a bunch of people viewed a video that we posted like 2 years ago. It didn't help anyone. So what's really important is picking this campaign for it to be the right thing you actually want. Video views are really great if the goal is to then ask them for just an email. If you're planning to ask for them to buy your $2,000 product, that's probably not the thing you want to do because they didn't actually give so much. They only gave 3 seconds of their time. So the first step, this campaign, should be what you want them to accomplish. So it could be a video view, there's a list. It's app activity, app install, likes, engagement on the post, video views, website clicks, and conversions, right? But then you have to remember also that conversions can mean a lot of things. Conversion can mean an email address, conversion can mean a name, conversion can mean a $200 product. So it also matters what your conversion goal is, because within that, Facebook is going to try to pick the best people to actually fulfill your goal. So that's step one, is campaigns. The second thing, after you pick the goal, is the ad set. The ad set determines who your audience is. So I actually want to show you what this looks like. This is an ad I ran, and this budget was $5 a day to people in the United States that like Facebook ads, have the interest of Facebook ads, right? I wrote an article on this exact topic, seven steps to master Facebook ads. I wrote an article, and I targeted people with the interest of Facebook ads that do not work in Facebook ads. To read my article, it cost me something like, it was 14 cents a click. I spent $100. I got 500 some odd people between this one and another one that I ran.
How did you find people that do not have a Facebook ad?
That was in Facebook. So this, we're gonna get to this. Is exciting. This is exciting. We're gonna talk about this new feature that came out about 3 months ago. So in here you pick gender, male or female. There is an option for unspecified, but they don't let you choose it. Just so you know that Facebook doesn't know some people if they're male or no. I'm saying Facebook actually doesn't know if some people are male or female. So you will not be able to target them if you pick male or female. They will be excluded. So in a lot of apps, if you run Instagram ads, they don't know if a person is male or female. So if you're targeting based on interest, you will get a ton of people that they just aren't sure if they're an 85-year-old woman or like a 17-year-old guy who like living in like New Jersey. Like they just don't know who that person is. Like, oh, they both live in New Jersey. I guess they're kind of similar people. They both take pictures of their cats and their food, so they just don't know who they are. So that's the first thing, is gender. The next one is language. It's really important. I don't know, you're in Israel, so you probably get a bajillion ads from Israeli businesses in Hebrew, right? So I've been telling all of these businesses that if you're writing an ad in Hebrew to English speakers, they are not reading it. Especially if it's, my favorite ones are like, the post is this long and it's just Hebrew text, and like, oh, I'm going to sit through this block of text. That's what I'm going to do, because I can't even read it. Let me spend 20 minutes trying to figure it out, and then have to click to your website that's only in Hebrew. That was a really great ad. So I actually sent a message to one of them saying like, why are you spending money on me? You could just change this to Hebrew and I won't see the ad. You're saving me tons of money. But he didn't listen. He just kept spending more money on me. So that's that. The one above this is location. So what's great about location is you could literally, without exaggerating, pick a spot on a map and say, I want 5 miles from here. Like 5 miles from this spot on the map. So
Don't do it in Israel, because then you also go to Palestinian.
I got a solution for that too. Don't you worry. So, so this allows you to pick.
I just repeated that.
So this allows you to pick a street. So like you sell only here. People are not driving to your sushi store if they have to pass 6 other sushi stores to get to it. So it doesn't make sense to target more than 5 miles from your store. That's just it. So that allows you to write in a full address, and it will put a dot on a map, and it will say how many miles from here would you want to target. It can go from 0 to 50, 1 to 50 miles. I think America allows you under 10, and Israel Israel the lowest is 5.
And is that somebody's registered location?
So you could choose in, living in, or there's a third one. You have everyone in the location, people who live in the location, people who recently in this location, and people traveling to the location. You could actually choose each of those things, and obviously you'll get different types of people. Someone who's visiting Ramat Beit Shemesh is a very different ad person than someone who lives in Ramat Beit Shemesh. And if you want to target someone for your taxi cab company, that is probably a really fantastic place to be targeting Rav Hashem Jerusalem who are traveling to this location. Underneath here is interests. Oh, I missed one. This one is custom audience. So this is where, as I talked about before, it's supposed to show on the screen, but I don't know why it's not loaded. It looks great on my screen. Let's see if I scroll down. Does it move? Ah, okay. This is custom audiences. So this was the thing I talked about, your video views, your website traffic, anything, your email list, and all of it shows up here. You can actually create the audience from right here, this button that you can't read that says create new audience right under my box. And from here, it's the same 4 choices that you still can't see the bottom one, but it's the same 4 choices right here, customer list, website traffic, and from here you can do those audiences. And in this list, you can create a lookalike. Of course, I can go up here. A lookalike campaign, which Facebook looks at your people, and they know every website they've been to that has a Facebook pixel. They know every email list they're on that they have information. Every piece of information that every page they like, how often they like a page, how often they comment, how often they share, what they share on, what they comment on, what they block, every single thing that someone does on Facebook and any website that has a Facebook pixel, they have every piece of information. So Facebook will look at my 20,000 email addresses and they will say, those people all are interested in Snapchat. So I'm going to use Snapchat people in this age group, in this location, that'll like those people. Here's a list of 2 million of them. That's what they'll do. In America, it's 2 million. Here, it's like 200,000. There's less people here, so they can't. It's not so easy. You don't want to have 2 million people. That's almost. There's 15 million people in Israel, so that's almost an eighth of the entire population of Israel. That's not going to help you so much. So that's the custom audiences. And then the last thing, which is specifically last, because it's the one that's talked about the most, but it's probably the worst way to target people, is this thing called interests. What the heck is an interest? Like, I honestly cannot define what Facebook means when they say interest. There's a guy whose name is John Loomer, who's like the biggest Facebook advertiser in the whole wide world, and he went through his list. There's a list you can go to, and it's like /preferences management. I don't know exactly what it is, and it will give you your list. You can see the things that Facebook thinks you care about. And one of his was grass. And he was like, I have no idea what that. I have no idea what that means. I know me. I don't know. Do I like? I guess Facebook thinks I like grass, so he just kept it on. Anyone that wants to target John Loomer for an ad can target him with the interest of grass. And I'm sure that if you were to type in grass, it would give you a list of 49,629,330 people have the interest of grass on Facebook. Grass. Like, yeah. And so what? I have no idea what this, like, I do not know what they base, I mean, I do know what they base it on, because I said, every website you've clicked on, every video you've watched, they know if you watched 10% or 20% or 30% or 50%, they know if you X that, they know if you wrote an angry comment, they know if you wrote a happy comment, they know everything about you. So that's what this interest is. Now, here's where it gets tricky. So, you know Donald Trump? Yes, you know Donald Trump? Okay, so Donald Trump has 14 million some odd likes on his Facebook page. But if you type in Donald Trump into this, it gives you a list of he has 7 million likes, and this is 19 million, went up the last time, it was 14 million last time I checked. So this is almost 3 times larger than the number of likes on his page. So, what does it mean if someone is interested in Donald Trump? It means they watched a video about Donald Trump. Now, I've watched a bunch of videos about Donald Trump. Does that mean I like Donald Trump? It means I have the interest of Donald Trump. So now if you were to make an ad that targeted people with interest in Donald Trump, you would probably get 12 million people that actually hate Donald Trump. Right? So this is really important to understand what it means to be an interest. Because you could have an interest, but you actually hate that thing. Like I typed in Nazis, I assume that the interest of Nazis would also be something in the millions, but it's probably people who don't like Nazis. That's what I would hope, that most of the people on that list are people who do not like Nazis. So after you've selected the interest, the next fun thing is what you were talking about, is how do I get the people I don't want out of that list? So underneath it, in really small letters, it says exclude people. Yeah? And in this list, I can target people who I don't want. So I know Donald Trump people. I need to figure out how to get the other 12 million people out of this list. So there's two ways. One is find things that I know they won't like. And other things is I want to find people they do like. So the second option underneath the exclude is narrow audience, which allows me to pick an additional factor. So everything in this top list, they pick from everything. So if you write, so I know a lot of people that do like marketing and Facebook and Google and SEO and PPC, and I'll just give you this whole list, and it's going to be like, at the end it's like 20 million people, right? So who do they pick out of that one? How do they pick? They just find one that really works and they just keep on sending money to that one. So you created this whole list of like everyone in marketing, everyone in business, and everyone in this, and they'll just find the cheapest people to show your ad to, and it didn't help you so much. Because social media management people are cheaper than Facebook ads people. They'll just keep showing it to those people because you got 10 more video views per send because of the fact that you included the social media people. And then there's a difference between interest and behavior, and there's all these fun things that are in there that we'll get to there in a different time. But the narrow audience allows you to say they have to like Facebook ads and they have to like Google, but they also must care about Snapchat, right? I'm only interested in people that have that whole list of social media and SEO and all those things, and also must care about Snapchat. That's what the narrow audience does. So now, if I were to type in there, they care about business and marketing and all that stuff, and they also must care about the Maccabees from Hanukkah, right? Yeah, and then there's another step. I can now exclude the people who care about the Arab League and Saudi Arabia, right? Facebook's over there. So now I'm able to take my interest list that I don't really know what that means and exclude people who I know for sure don't care and include only the people that I know for sure will care about this message. If I read an article about Snapchat, targeting people that care about Facebook ads probably won't help me very much because they don't actually use Snapchat. So that is something that's important. So that was the ad set. Okay, and the last step is the ads. I have gotten into more fights about my technique for ads than anything I've ever talked about. And then a company called Ad Espresso, which does Facebook ads, they have a platform to build your thing on. They just came out with an article today that wrote exactly how I've been doing ads for the last 3.5 years. And everyone's been telling me I've been wrong, and they told me they've tested over $100,000 in the last 4 months, and they found that this was the best way to run ads. So, Facebook used to not have a limit on ads. Every ad I made was 250 A/B tests. I tested every image, every text, I switched the headline and the post, and I switched everything you could possibly imagine. I tried hundreds of different thumbnails. I tested carousels and individual pictures. I tried several pictures. I tried a video and several pictures. I tried 3 videos and 2 pictures. Everything you could possibly imagine. 250 ads per ad set. Last year, Facebook changed the rule. You can only do 50. And I was not happy. And then I would talk to Facebook. Why do you limit it? Well, we advise people to only make 5 ads. And I was like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Like literally, the stupidest thing I've ever heard is to only we advise to only do 5 ads. And I had like a whole conversation last week about how this literally worked better than this will literally save you more money than any other technique and landing page optimization, just creating more ads. Because you know all the interests and things that Facebook knows about people. So if I am targeting people with the interest of Facebook and I write the word Facebook in the ad, it will perform just that much better. But the question is, where is it best? Is it best in the description or in the headline or in the actual text above? I had no idea. So just try all of them. And then I create another ad. And I do the same thing because Facebook worked, but if I use the word Twitter in the ad, it might work better. But again, I really don't know. Is it better in the description or the headline or in the text post? So I create another ad with every possibility, with the words moved around and every keyword, and I create 2 versions of the ad with every ad in a different place, makes 6, so that does make sense. So imagine it was just A, B, C, and then A, C, B, and then B, C, A, comes out to 6, and then you do that again, is 12, and now that's 12 ads. I can only do 4 versions of that because 412 times 4 is 48. I'm locked at 50, so I create 48 ads, and it comes out, you read this number, 240 comes out to exactly the number of ad sets that I made and 48. And so now you get to test 4 things. You do a video, an image, a carousel, and then the video with a different thumbnail.
What's the carousel?
A carousel is several pictures all in a row, and you just see which one does my audience like best. Because I don't know which one works best, but guess who does? Facebook. So I just test all of them and let Facebook run all of these ads all at the same time for $5 a day. I'm not spending and some people think, how do you know? You know how you know? You wait 3 days. You spend $15. And then you spend your $15, Facebook has had the time to test, and they will choose the one they think will work best. Would I have made that one by accident? Probably not. But if I created a whole formula where I had every single possible ad that I could possibly think of, I tested every formula with the keywords in every place that it could be, maybe at the end of the headline, maybe beginning of the headline, anything you could think of, I tested all of it. I just let Facebook choose the one that they think will work best. So I don't know why I've had this argument with Facebook a few times, but they seem to disagree, even though their formula has worked every time. I tried, I said, okay, maybe they're right. You know what, I'm gonna make one ad, exactly the same thing, I'll pick the one I think is gonna work. That one it was 7 times worse. I think I was getting a click for 5 cents, as opposed to like 40 cents a click for the exact same ad with the same picture, but I didn't change the headline and the text. If I would have just done that, I would have saved 20 cents, some odd cents a click, right? Just because I tested it. And a lot of people tell me the next issue is, once Facebook picks one, they'll keep running that one, because they saw it worked. So they say, wow, it's working, we'll keep running that one. And that one will start running worse. So they're saying, well, how could you run this ad? They're running the worst ad. You know how? You just go in, you click the little blue box here, it turns off the ad. You just turn off the ad. If it doesn't work, you go into the ad set, you click on the ad, it tells you this one used to cost 5 cents, today it's costing 17 cents. Oh, 17 cents? I guess I'll hit it's really not, it's not that difficult. You just have to go back into the ads, and then you'll see that it's not working so well. You turn it off, and Facebook will pick another one.
Do you find that your A/B testing results do parallel generally your actual results when you run the ad?
If you do just 2 ads, it will perform considerably worse than if you do this method. Meaning
No, but if you find the winning ad and it's A/B and you do 48 and this is the winner.
So I allow
and then you run
20 or
that
30
winner.
to run. Meaning I'll turn off the ones that are performing poorly. So, it's blue. So what'll happen here, in Ad Manager, it's a lot easier to see. These numbers are really small here. But if you go into Ad Manager, which is called Ad Manager because they want you to manage the ads. They don't want you to make the ads. They want you to manage the ads in here. So in Ad Manager, it presents it a lot nicer. So I just want to show you what this ad looks like. So here's my Facebook ads campaign, and here's this Facebook ads thing if it loads. And here's my 48 ads. And then you could just click cost. So now remember, I'm running for website clicks. So if one ad is running at 13 cents and one ad is running at 60 cents, just turn the one that's running at 60 cents off. So you just sort by cost, and you see, this one's 7 cents. You can't see, but just trust me, it says 7 cents. And as you scroll down the list to the bottom, they get more expensive. Now this is 40 cents. So you see, what I did, I just turned the ones that cost more than 20 cents off. And then obviously what happened was, these 3 got worse the last day of the ad before I could turn them off, and everything below this is off. Because it was costing too much. It was costing 40 cents. So I saw it didn't work. I went in 2 days later, you have to let it run, because if you're spending a little bit of money, you have to let it actually spend the money. And then you just go in, you see the ones that are worse, the worst performing ones, you just click the button to turn it off. Yes?
If it costs more money, shouldn't it be a better prospect?
You have no idea. So this is where you have to do some lumbus, right? So you have to say, if it's for website clicks, then, and I'm paying for website clicks, and Facebook already knows the ad set. This is within one ad set. It's not within one, it's not all the ad sets together, this is separate. So I targeted people, CMOs in America, and I targeted people interested in Facebook ads, excluding people who work in Facebook ads, right? And I let them run against each other. Those ads are totally separate ad campaigns, ad sets. So this group of 48 ads and those group of 48 ads, you might find some very interesting information. The CMO people really like if the word Facebook's in the headline, and the people that are Facebook people really hate when it's in the headline because they know you target them based on Facebook ads. So they're not very happy with you. So they are less likely to click on it, and therefore it will cost more money. But you don't know. That's why you're doing 48 in both of them, and you're letting both of them run. So since my goal was only website clicks and not conversions, you don't know from Facebook, and Facebook doesn't know, which of these people converted, because that was not their goal. Their goal was get you clicks. So when it's just clicks, and it's the same group of people, if it's the difference between 5 cents and 20 cents, the same people are seeing the ad. So the prospect is the same group of people. So I would rather them see my 5-cent click ad as opposed to my 20-cent click. And that's why for website clicks it works. For conversions it's a little bit harder. Because for conversions you need to play a game. It's true that this one cost me 28 cents more than the other one, but it got me 3 more conversions than the other one for less money. So it doesn't make sense to have it on. And then you have to say, so the cost per impression of this ad was X cents, and the cost per impression of this ad was Y cents. Is it monetarily worth it for me to run the ad that's costing me more money if it's getting me more conversions? And you have to do that, Matt. You have to do the work to know if it makes sense, if the numbers work. So, but when it comes to web video, again, lower worth goals, website clicks, video views, likes, engagement, impressions, you just get the cheapest ones because you're hitting the same group of X number of people.
So wait, in like Google Analytics, can you get cost per conversion information?
You can set up events in Google Analytics, but then you need to be running your Facebook ad with a tracking link, UTM parameters, and Facebook doesn't really like those, and they probably cost more money.
I don't understand. Can you say that again, please?
Okay, so you could track conversions. So either you could do it in Google Analytics as an event, or you could pay for a service like ClickMeter. There's Volume, there's one called Volume. And what it does is it gives you a special URL, and you use that URL, and then they track conversions and cost per click and all that stuff. And there are plenty of platforms that you can build your Facebook ads on the platforms, like AdEspresso and those things, and they will put conversion pixels for themselves and be able to track. But again, Facebook doesn't see that information, and they just want to get you the cheapest conversions, whatever that means. So you can track all that information, and you want to. The problem is if you're running 48 ads and 10 ad sets, then every ad set needs a different conversion click, so you know which of the ad sets got you the best people. That makes sense? So if you're targeting women in New York and women in Beit Shemesh, you want to have 2 separate conversion pixels and 2 separate events for those people.
Why?
So you can know which ad worked. Because otherwise, you know it worked, but you don't know what worked. And that's why it's really important to actually spend time here in Google Analytics and any other tracking information that you're doing. Because if you don't spend time in the data, you don't know what it worked meant. What does working mean? So you just have to see, I see that I got a bunch of email addresses, but most of the email addresses were people that haven't opened the email in the last 100 days, and now I'm just sending it to a bunch of people. Not only did my average open rate drop from 22% to 12%, the people that I got for 20 cents on Facebook didn't actually help me, and I'd rather have spent 50 cents on Facebook for that other group of people that cost more, but they were opening their email. And you can track all of that within Facebook and using MailChimp and UTM parameters, and there's a pre-filled information. And the analytics part of this is considerably more complicated than this talk. So that is the best way to set up ads. So now the last thing I want to talk about is analyzing these ads. So if you're running, I advise people to run small campaigns at first, because what happens is you have a group of people that are 100,000 people in your group, right? So there's a lot of stuff. What does Facebook do to choose the people, right? So they want to know how much time you spent building your ad set. They need to know what type of people you're just trying to target. I know people that targeted all of America. They literally just said, I want to target all of America for my diet. Everyone wants my diet. So if I just target everyone in America, I'll get really cheap clicks that will convert, hopefully. And they were just spending money and not seeing any results because Facebook was just choosing the lowest level people in America to get them engagement, to get them to run the ads. So what you want to do is make 5 ad sets. right? So this again is different. You have John Smith, you have Mary Smith, you have Bob Dole, and all these other. You created all these personas, and you create 5 to 10 ad sets. So you say, I don't know, photographers in New Jersey, and you have graphic designers in New Mexico, and you just make these. You know what people. You hopefully know the people that are buying your product. So just create 5 different types of people, and have those ads run for $5 a day, right? So the whole thing is going to cost you $25. Let it run for 3 days, 2 days, 3 days. Don't touch it because Facebook needs to do all of their magic and pick the best ads and the assets and the people in the group, and just let it run for 2 days. So you spent $50, and you've now found the best people of the 5 that you thought. You picked out a group of 5, you said, these are my best 5 people. Well, really, you didn't know this, but 2 of them are really bad, and 3 of them are really fantastic. And the people that you thought were the best were actually the worst. And you would have spent $2,000 just targeting that group because you just didn't know. So now you spent $50 in 2 days, found out who the best people are. So what that allows you to do is say, these ad sets did work, these ad sets did not work. Let me put more money in this ad set, take money out of that ad set. Great. That's 2 days later. You wait a week, right? So now you spent $250. And you see, this ad set worked really well. Let me continue running it. This ad is not working. Turn it off, right? So step 1 was just change the amounts that are being spent in each ad set after 2 days. Turn it off after a week. Then let it run for another week, and then go into the ads. The reason why you need to wait a week is because you're only spending $5 a day, maybe $10 at this point, $10 a day, and you have 48 ads to test. There's lots of testing that needs to happen in that week, so you need to give it at least 10 to 12 days to let it happen. And then you go in here and you turn off the ones that didn't work, right? And now you have, that puts you at about 3 weeks of this ad, and you figured out the best ads to the best people. So now what do you want to do? Spend more money. So just put more money in the campaign until it reaches everyone. So that could take 3 days, that could take 30 days, that could take 3 months, 4 months, and you can see, because in Ad Manager, again, it's going to be hard for you to see, but it's a metric that Facebook used to show a lot, and now they hide. So in here, the normal setting is performance. So performance means the thing you chose as your goal, that's the thing they want to show you. So for me, this ad was clicks. So the first thing they show you in big giant letters is results. 316 clicks. So again, it would be video views. It would be impressions. It would show you this list. That's all they wanted to look at. And then they wanted you to stop looking because they did what you wanted. They wanted you to see this thing. This cost was, where is it? 14 cents a website click. You're happy, right? This is great, fantastic. And then what happens is when you click into performance and clicks, which is why I have that mindset to default, you see this funny little number they don't want to tell you called frequency. Frequency means the number of times the person has seen your ad. So if you have an email list with 100 people in it, and you spend $10,000 in that group of people, they have seen your ad 1,000 times. Okay? You probably could have stopped at 2. Probably, maybe 4 times. So that total cost to see that 100 people would have been $4, $6, and you just kept on spending money because you didn't know that it says frequency is 7.2. Right? So now you're asking, why did it's going against exactly what I said. It says 7.2. Why didn't I turn this ad off? So why? Because I was targeting Israelis interested in Facebook ads. I was trying to reach specifically Israelis that speak English. And that whole group was only 1,000 people, so to me, it was worth spending the $1.50 for it to be seen by them 7 times. Right? So this is why this number of frequency is probably the most important metric for you to see.
Is that individuals?
People that have seen your ad X times.
Right, but it could be person X 7 times, 7.2.
Right, it could be, no, because this is the average of
Oh,
all of the people that are
Can
in
you
the
limit
ad.
it, that will show it 2 times per person?
You turn it off.
No, let's say I only reach
Within
2 of the
Facebook-
people, I want to get the
No,
other
no, no,
98.
Facebook will not, no, Facebook will not, so you could do, so in optimizing your ad, you could choose, it could be daily reach, it could be unique reach, which means people, I want to show it to as many people as possible in one day. Or I want to get the most number of clicks per day. You can so it gives you a list of optimized per click, optimized per video view, optimized per engagement, so you're optimizing
Unique.
daily unique reach. That's what it's called. And that allows you to reach the least number of people, the most number of people, the least amount of times. in a day. But again, if you're running that for 2 weeks at a very small audience, every day you'll reach the most number of people, but you'll keep on hitting the same people over and over again, right? So that's why this frequency is really, really important. And this allows you to know, can I run my ad for a week? Can I run my ad for a month? Can I run my ad? Because imagine if I was running this ad for $5 a day to people interested in Facebook ads in Israel, and I only spent $1.51. Imagine if I wouldn't have looked and I would just let it spend. I would have come back in a month. It would have spent $10 or worse. It would have been way worse for you, but anyone spending more money than me. And I would have been seen by the same 100 people 79 times. And Facebook just didn't show that column to you because they want you to continue running the ads. And if you would have seen this, you would have said, they've seen it 6 times. I think it's not happening anymore. I could turn it off now.
So I like the idea of multiple ads to cross-reference what you're doing, but then you can't know if each individual ad is seeing, the same people are getting into.
Say that one more time.
So the same people are seeing multiple ads.
That's why it's so important to exclude. This week, I made it today, this video, the importance of excluding audiences. Because remember, we talked, at the very beginning of this talk was marketing funnels. So first step, get them to watch your video. Second step, get them to go to your website. Third step, get them to give your email. Fourth step, get them to buy your product. And then maybe buy more products, buy back, add-ons, all that stuff in your funnel. So step 1, people, is get them to see your video. So who are you going to exclude? Your email people, your website people, and people who have seen your video. And the next step in the funnel is you're letting the people that saw the video, but not someone who's been to that website, but not someone who's been to the link and not someone who's giving your email. Because if they're on this funnel, they're in the wrong place. Because if you're not excluding them, so I'll tell you, this week, I got targeted by MailChimp. MailChimp is the only service that connects directly to Facebook. So of all of the people, all of the companies that send email that are doing email marketing, MailChimp should know how this works. They're the only ones. So if you add your email subscribers directly from MailChimp and you hover over them, on the right side there's a button, you click on it and it says exclude audience. So they targeted me to sign up for an email newsletter I'm already on. Okay? So that means that MailChimp, the business, the only business that should know better, doesn't. And they targeted a whole group of people because I went to the comments and every comment was, oh, I love this email newsletter. Yeah, I love it too. Oh, it's so great. And it was literally just comment after comment after comment of people that have already signed up and been reading the last 9 email newsletters of theirs. So if you're not doing this, you're just throwing money at Facebook, and guess what? They will continue to get that same email over and over and over, and they'll get that same email address 150 times because it's the cheapest one they could possibly get for you. And if you're not excluding, you're making you're just throwing money out the window. It's like literally, imagine every day you get the same one guy walking into your store, the same one guy over and over again. That's exactly what you're doing here if you don't exclude audiences. Yeah.
So if let's say somebody's logged into Facebook, and they go to my website and they give me their email address, but it's a different email address than their Facebook account. Do they get linked?
So, there's 2 parts to that question. There's this thing called Facebook. I didn't even talk about it yet, but I don't know if I have time. You guys? I don't know if I have time to talk about it. Called the Facebook Pixel. Okay, the Facebook Pixel is a code. I'm going to show it to you. This is my Facebook Pixel. I'm in Ad Manager. I'm going to show you the steps. You can't see it, but the bottom one says Pixel. Pixels. It's now only 1. So this is my pixel. This is action view pixel. Don't look at the little tiny code. You probably wouldn't read it anyway. It's a bunch of numbers. So this is my code. This is it. This is the whole thing. Okay? I take this and I put it in the header of every page on my website. Facebook now knows every single person that's ever been to my website. So your question you asked is, how do I know their email address if they give me a different email address? So if they have this pixel file on their website, Facebook knows. Okay? Now there's a second part. They just last week announced a thing called advanced matching, which allows you to add more fields on this anything that you can't see, and it allows you to put first name, last name, email address, phone number, address, zip code, birthday, any information you want that you're collecting within the Facebook pixel. So what happens? The person comes to your store, comes to your online store. They buy the product. They write in their first name and last name, but they weren't logged into Facebook. Or they have their JavaScript turned off, which means that it wouldn't have loaded the pixel. Or they use a different, or the email that you had from them before was their business one, and you want their, so the other way around. You have their personal one, but they're giving their business one, right? So Facebook doesn't know if that person has a Facebook account. But if they have John Smith, 123 Maple Drive in New York, 12345, the same exact one I gave in the video this morning, then they can now match John Smith's business account to his personal account. And now you could target that person even though you didn't before have their personal email address. Yeah? And it's just, you type in Facebook Pixel Advanced Matching into Google, and it will give you this thing, and it's just like FN, and then the code, whatever the code of your website, I can't tell you what it is, it's different for every website, and it's a code that is the thing that they're grabbing for first name, last name. I'm sure Shopify has a thing already for it. You just grab that stuff, throw it in the thank you page of your website, and then it will grab and it will try matching all of those people that you didn't before have a way to advertise to them. So Facebook now has a way to advertise to them. So this Facebook Pixel, is a whole lot more than conversion tracking. It also does regular tracking that we talked about before. You can target people that came to your website. But let's say people that come to my website are very similar to the people that come to Times Israel and New York Times. And Gawker just went out of business, so Gawker, and LinkedIn just got bought by Microsoft. So all these things, they're all very similar to me, right? And Facebook is mapping people, right? Because this pixel is on 96% of websites now. I have no idea how many, but probably more than 90% of websites have this pixel on it, and they are able to know this person went to A, B, C, D, E, but they didn't come to my website. But I want people like those people, so I can create a lookalike to my audience, which are people that went to these websites, and I can target them because I have my pixel that makes me similar to other people. But if I didn't have my pixel, if you didn't put your pixel on the website, Facebook just wouldn't know who to compare you to. And there's another bonus, and then I'm going to end with this. There's another bonus here, organic reach. Everyone's talking about how do I get more organic reach on Facebook. The greatest way to do that is to put your pixel on your website, send them an email. If they click to your website, the Facebook pixel fired, right? So if they go on Facebook, they are more likely, and I confirmed it last week. I got into a fight with Buffer about this last week on Twitter, and I confirmed it last week that if the Facebook pixel fires on your website and they haven't seen your posts in months and months and months, they will start seeing your posts on Facebook because they went to your website. So you didn't pay a penny for ads. You will get more organic reach just because you have traffic to your website.
I thought the organic reach they limited to like a couple percent of your fan base.
So they don't limit it, but this is a whole other conversation of how they choose stuff to go in my newsfeed. So it's based on how much I care about page X, how much I care about the post type X, meaning do I like videos, do I like pictures, do I like carousel, do I like just straight up text, all that stuff. Have I been to that website recently? Have other people been to that website recently? Meaning, do 60 of my friends, did they read that article? Right? So even if they didn't share the article, did they read the article? If they did, I'd probably like it because my 60 friends liked it, so they'll show it to me. And so all of these things, so now the question no longer is, I'm the business that Facebook's killing because I only get 2%. The question is, what do users want? What do the users want? So the users have, this is the statistic from 2013, so I'm sure it's really wrong, but it was something like per person, they get 15,000 pieces of content are put up on Facebook that technically speaking are in the sphere of things they can see. But the average person only sees 300. So I'd assume that at this point, that number is probably closer to like 100,000. Meaning there are 100,000 pieces of content that I potentially could see, but I will only see about 500 of it. So Facebook needs to pick the ones that they want me to see. So again, it's based on, do I like that page? Do I like the stuff on that page? Have I cared about that page in the last 6 months? Do my friends care about this stuff on all of these things? Is this post getting a lot of engagement? And that is what's determining if your post gets seen. So, Facebook videos do better than YouTube videos, Instagram pictures do better than Facebook, straight up Facebook pictures, and there's all these like tricks you can play, because Facebook has an algorithm, but at the end of the day, if your users don't care about your posts, you just won't be shown in the newsfeed. So that's, does anyone have any questions? Yeah?
Getting back to Facebook pixels,
Yeah.
can you have two different pixels on the same page?
So the way you do it that way, the answer is no now, but there's a way to get around it because there's a thing called conversion pixels. So I talked about before having the conversion pixel on your thank you page. So Facebook has a list that they move, so I'm not going to go looking for now, but you add it right there. You can't see where I'm pointing, but it says FBQ track page view script, like /script. It says right there. So if you were to add more conversion pixels, and you can make them up, you could call it, I want Facebook pixel doodles, and I want Facebook Pixel download app, and you can just name any ones you want, and you write them in there right before the /script. So what you do is you say, I have two different types of businesses, and I really want them to be separate. So I want to target people who have done X but not Y, and you just kind of separate it that way. The other option is to use Business Manager and just make two different pixels on Business
Let's say I
Manager.
have products on Amazon and I want to track them on Amazon.
Does Amazon let you put the Facebook pixel on there?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. There are a lot of businesses, there are a lot of landing page things like Unbounce, lead pages, MailChimp. They let you, or most just landing page creation websites, if you are creating the landing page, Wix, for example. So Wix on the top right over top left over here, there's a button that says like header, and then there's a big box and it lets you put in, and it literally says like place pixel, Facebook pixel here, right? And that will place it on the header, and then when you go into the thank you page part of Wix, so it will say, you know, put HTML, and you just make a box and you paste the pixel on the thank you page right there on Wix. So most businesses, like I assume that Kickstarter probably has one, and most places where you give them your money, like where they're collecting money for you, they want you, like obviously they want you to do well because they want more of your money. That's what they want. That's how all these businesses, like Kickstarter, and this thing called like Gumroad, and so all these businesses want you to do really well so that they can take more percentage of your money. That's how it works. So if you put a Facebook pixel on it and therefore are able to target people better, then they want that. So there's usually somewhere in the advanced section or like the paid plan. I know, what is it? I was doing something and they told me, Sumo Me is a pop-up creation tool that lets you do free pop-ups and welcome mats and all these things, but they only let you do the tracking if you pay the $19 a month to use the thing. So they're always hidden, it's hidden, so they allow it, they just hide it somewhere. And then what you can do is it allows HTML on the thank you page, so even if you can't put in the pixel one, you can put it for free on your thank you page. Don't tell them I can figure that out. So that's that. So if anyone has any questions, then I will love to answer them, and if they don't, then I will let you go because it's late. Don't tell anyone.
And you want the pixel on your thank you page so you can track who converted?
So what this allows you to do is every conversion pixel, I talked about, you could do leads, you could do conversions, you could do registrations, they should each have their own dedicated thank you page with a different pixel on it, because if all of my pixels are in here, meaning if I just write page view and lead and conversion and send everyone to that website, Facebook doesn't know the difference between all those people. As far as Facebook is concerned, everyone bought your product, added it to their cart, and gave you their email address, and they did everything but just by landing on that page. And when you start creating ads to the people that you want that just gave their email address or that just added to cart, you can't, because all of them did everything. So just by putting the pixel on the thank you page, on your registration page, on the page after MailChimp accepts their email address, it lets you send them to a website, a web page, and you just put it on that web page. And so to do that, once it's in, if you're using WordPress, which most people, 25% of the entire internet uses WordPress, so hopefully you're on WordPress, you take this pixel and this one goes in your header, and then if you want the page to just do leads, so you change just the word, you can't see it, but it says page view right there, pointing to the word. You just change that word to lead, and you put this pixel exactly as it is with just the word lead, and now they won't interfere with each other, because if you have the same pixel for page view firing twice, Facebook just going to be like, oh, this is crazy, it's not working, we just won't collect any information. So you want to make sure to take out, if you're writing you can put two pixels on the same page, one in the header and one lower down, and then just make sure they're not the same word, because then it's assuming that something's wrong. So that's how you can track conversions. And then if you want to create look-alike campaigns to people who were leads, or people that were conversions, or people that were registered, or people that added to cart, you can do all of that because you correctly placed your pixel and conversion pixels in all the right places. Okay, I think that we're done. Thank you so much for listening. Hope that you learned something. And if you have any questions, you can do that in the next